Hi, everybody. My name is Ezekiel. I'm here from the Brookhaven Landfill and Action Remediation Group, which is actually located in Long Island, New York. We're here as an ally that has to deal with the town of Brookhaven owning a landfill in a largely Black Latinx section of North Belport, which has therefore led to health conditions dropping in this area. The landfill is located less than a half mile, or excuse me, less than 5 miles from a school. So you can often see pictures, or if you're on the school grounds, you can see the mound that is the landfill, I should say. And we take initiatives, whether it's meeting with corporations or with the public officials, and we try to force the shutdown of this landfill. And we specifically force the change towards zero waste initiatives. This has been for too long an issue that they knew was going to imminently going to end at some point, but they wanted to maximize its sustainability. And they've determined that 2024 is an appropriate time to close the landfill. However, they're trying to propose plans for an Asheville site directly next door. So that's not a solution to these problems. We're trying to force some change instead of that. So the landfill originally was planned to be a one cell landfill, and over the last 50 years has grown to be 6 cells in total. As you can see here, we previously accepted all types of waste, including C and D and municipal waste. Municipal waste being what you would throw away from your house, community driven essentially. We take a large landfill that takes from the region of Long Island and different parts of New York, and even from beyond. We're talking, possibly from Philadelphia, possibly from Puerto Rico, over its 50-year history. So it's shifted a lot of that disposability issue onto this Black and Latinx and indigenous community, or Long Island. My community in particular idolizes previous slave owner named William Floyd. And our land that used to be part of the Native American, the Unkachuk people in my town specifically, and different tribes across Long Island, that this is supposed to be sacred land. And now it's being desecrated over this last half century with a large disposability and landfill promoting profit-driven waste. So this photo on the left, I live right off of Sunrise Highway. So this is exit 58 that you're looking at behind you, that car being driven on the highway. But this man is less than a half mile from my house. I was on my way to the landfill, landfill's quite large. So there's, lots of like little bypasses in between the highways. And this is, if you look, those are Sprite bottles that were littered just up the whole highway. It looks like a bag was dumped as if fell off a truck or something maybe. And someone had neatly packaged up a lot of recycling as if it was going to go to the town-owned landfill. They thought that they were going to be recycling, and it ended up on the side of the road. So just like this man was out picking out garbage right in front of his home, he lived on this other side of this service road. I was going out and I was picking up soda bottles, Sprite bottles, right outside of the landfill. So this all started, as you can see on the left, with the manufacturing industry leaders like American Can Company, the Dixie Cup, and Owen Glass consorted with Cola and other massive companies in the game to push this media campaign called Keep America Beautiful, where instead of having to deal directly with their production, they tried to push the issue of disposability onto the individual. So if littering was an issue with farmers finding glass bottles in their haystacks, and the cows would munch into the haystacks and choke on the glass bottles. Now if industry producing meat is being affected, that's where littering becomes an issue in these big corporations' minds, not when it's on the side of the road like this. So there you try to shift littering in this campaign of 32 states across the US, and they shift it onto the individual, the litter bugs, and that's who they villainize instead of having to deal with how much they're producing and people throwing it away. this overflowing that really comes out. And it comes out in our landfill specifically now, because we have to deal with everyone else's waste and then our own that we produce as a community. And that's something that we have to face. So as I was saying, it's all part of this massive corporation scheme. It's hard for us to have to deal with our own waste, and we have to go on and deal with others. These are photos of the landfill itself. Again, this is the life expectancy for the town of Brookhaven. You can see a zoomed in portion of it, and then it across greater Long Island. Think of the Hamptons is what you would have on the right. I was been protesting over the summer, and I was protesting with Black Lives Matter, and as a movement. And there's no greater organization for Black Lives Matter. I was out there by myself for at least 72 hours during the summer, where I was just out there solo. And then in addition to that, I was part of more community-oriented groups that emerged and put on protests or put on celebrations for Juneteenth. This was produced by Erin Zipman, who's a member of Blarg. Those are note the cars that are being driven on the body. These are quick sketches that she made regarding the landfill and Brookhaven's really turning their back on the community in a sense. Nature coming back and throwing your trash monster at you, possibly. There's seagulls, there are hundreds of them, all over the landfill. You always see them anytime you drive by. Like I said, the school and the landfill in the background, that's the mound that you see. This is another art piece by Erin. Unfortunately, Erin's not here. She's a college student like myself, and she's moving in today. And, in relation to Philadelphia, like I said, we're here as an ally. Philadelphia has its own history with landfills, and it's, again, a regional problem that gets shifted onto particular communities that have to deal with this massive overflow.